Hey friends, hopefully I'll keep my eyes in the right place because sitting outside the way I've got it set up, I need to look at the top camera versus the bottom one. But anyways, they wanted me to bring out my moon magic miracle mystery. Somebody's here for something because my nose be itching. Ooh, Sagittarius, the key going on. There's something you want to hear. Maybe there's even a message that you need to know that you've been waiting a long time for. It could go back several winters or feeling like you're in a perpetual winter. There I am doing it again. Let me look up here. In the perpetual winter of waiting for yourself to be nurtured, to be nourished, to have the lifeblood and energy from which to flow from. And I will just tell you, you might skip ahead to minute 440. Why? They're talking, go look there. I'm like, well, whatever. That's the thing about coming back to this channel new after having gone through cancer, is I'm willing to say exactly what it is. All right. So we've stopped with valerian and feverfew. Maybe you've been working yourself into an absolute frenzy and you're needing to not just give yourself a break. I'm hearing give yourself a little credit. Quit being so harsh on yourself, friend. That's for the one that showed up wondering, do they have my message? Am I going to hear what I need to hear in here? Because my nose is itching for you, friend. Stop being harsh on yourself. Of trying to just grab it and take the whole thing at once. That I could talk to myself, but I went through treatment, so now I know this cancer treatment. And it's like being able to take life by the force, or the bull by the horns, or I'm gonna tamp that down, I'm gonna snuff this out, I know how to handle that, or take care of that, or take control of this, or put an end to that, or I know how to leverage up and to push myself forward, and I'm gonna create this whole system at once, and I'm gonna clean the whole house at once. Great. It's gonna get dirty again. Life happens and is happening. And life's saying, stop robbing yourself of these opportunities for joy. Joy for what? Rest, reflection, intake, influx of things that aren't connected to one of these devices, or, just constantly supping it in and taking it in, trying to check out in some form of denial, whatever that is. Ooh. Oh, hang on, because this is going to be for you. All right, little guy. They wanted me out my garden. I'm like, look, we're going to just start doing whatever we need to do. Come on, baby. Aw. I guess they're reaching the end of a life cycle of the first ones, because I saw another one the other day, and there are no pesticides in my garden. Look at that sweet little bumblebee. Okay. This one's still fresh because it's slightly pliable. But that's that thing, is that pushing, that going they're doing. They're saying it'll be the death of you. And it doesn't have to be the death of the body. The body can take a long time to go into disease and decay before those poor investments start to show up. But it becomes the immediate death of your soul, of almost like the highest note that a singer could sing. It's this shrill closing up, like trying to suck a thick milkshake through a straw. The straw just begins to flatten out, and it restricts your connection with life itself, your breath, your freedom, your liberty. That might not seem that important, but your liberty is your tree of life. It is connected, it has roots, and therefore it has fruits. So you're restricting your fruits. Not forever, ever down the road. No, maybe just in the fall. That if you get in that Big Dipper effect, which they love to talk about at this channel, is that 6 months you're filling up and 6 months you're pouring out. Some cultures look into, the 4 seasons, but at this channel, they pretty much talk about the cycle of filling up and pouring out, right? That we need to understand the balance of day and night and the bigger scope of investing and reflecting. That long time ago, just a couple of decades, businesses used to find it pivotal to be able to grow and to stabilize. They weren't looking to just keep growing their bottom line. They were also looking to hold the bottom line, because they understand how healthy it is to grow and to rest, to grow and to rest. Just like the plants, they're taking in all this information all during the day, and as soon as it becomes night, there it was 4:40. Hello, that was your message. That then they begin to process the sunshine at nighttime. How fantastic. and then it converts into food. So rest and reflection are when the roots, the wisdom, the truth, the knowledge becomes inherent in your body, in your environment, in your bank account, in your relationships, in the physical world. How? Not through knowledge, all right? It converts just like that. That chlorophyll converts through photosynthesis. So it takes the photo, the light, the image, the knowledge, the impression, the idea, and it synthesizes it. It converts it with something within itself, with what the roots are saying, with what the nutrients are going down in there, with what is showing up, with how dry or how wet the soil is. It's constantly trying to communicate an ideal homeostasis for what the situation is right now. So when you're just staying at one end of it or the other, thinking that you can make it happen, you cannot. It is synthesized. It is dealing with an energy greater than just yourself in that moment. It goes through a chemical process. It goes through this dynamic process of conversion that takes it from purpose into meaning. It's kind of like a collection. Just buying it all up and gathering it all up at once, that's not collected. It's purchase. That's why a lot of furniture stores say, buy the whole set, buy the whole room, buy the whole whatever, because you'll know it goes together. It seems like it fits together, and boom, got it done. Now we're going to get on with living. Really? So I live in an area where there's massive wealth just over the bridge. And having lived there for years and then just lived on this other side for several years, you go walking and there are multi-million-dollar boats behind the houses that never move. How do I know? I lived there 6 years and I walk 3, 4, 5 times a day because as a massage therapist, I have to get some circulation after I've had some intense deep stagnation, right? That balance, that Big Dipper effect. And the boats wouldn't move. The houses were rarely inhabited. So someone said, oh my God, I can't wait. I want to be so rich I can have a house at the beach. And then I'm going to have a boat and take everybody out and it's going to look just like the movie stars and I'm going to have that life and it's going to feel so good. But either they're still in the hamster wheel of having to earn more in order to pay for all those things, which they could have been bought for, but the insuring of them, the taxing on them, the upkeep and the care for something, because whether you use it or not, and often when it's not used, it can require even more care. Right, because for one, it's garnering your attention of like, hey, you remember you wanted this thing and you're not doing anything with it, right? It's like when you go out going, I'm going to have fun, even though I know I have all this homework, the back of your head still knows and is just sitting there the whole time going, So you can't fully release yourself into the fun, into the satisfaction, into the enjoyment, because part of it's holding that space. Okay, friends, so we're just going to step past that, but that's the bulk of this message. Now we're going to flesh it out with our tarot and our color energy vibration cards. So what they're saying is just let it begin to soothe and ease and move through you. Let yourself relax, not just through induced means. Okay, for some of that induction, they want to be your breath, right? That when you just it creates a shift in the mind, and the body's like, oh wait, what are they about to do? I don't know. But it creates an opening and a space, an invitation for opportunity to step in, and not just in that moment. It creates a sigh, a breath, a release in your future, 3 hours from now, 3 days from now, maybe in the middle of the night, for life to go, oh, there's space. There's space for us to create a meeting. There's space for us to interject an idea. Look over there, because they're not looking right here. This is when you created it. You are a creator, friend. You're not a follower. You're a creator. Okay. So then it's like, take it easy, and you won't need that anymore. The feverfew, the friction, the frenetic, the rubbing against the grain, creating friction for yourself, for others. When you have that, spirit doesn't flow. Nothing flows. Friction and resistance. Now, having been in an abusive relationship for the last 2.5 years, there was a lot of friction here because I was always having to protect myself, never knowing when it was going to go over the line. You know, so my natural self, which is vibrant, jubilant, happy, desiring of the whole world's happiness, which is why it's called joy to the world, right? I want you to have your joy full inside of you, because then you begin to dance with this world and things come in that I have never seen, known, or experienced. And I love the thought of that, okay? But there was that friction and resistance. So anyways, I had to have this conversation with my soul, my spirit, my divine self. And it was like, hey, that friction, that resistance is not desired by me. It was a survival tactic that had to stay in there in order to get me to here. So I willingly and openly release. Now, don't get caught in the words. You're just hearing me, okay? And what I said to myself. I'll release all resistance and friction to the flow of who I naturally am. You see, the wind responds. The flow of my nature, the flow of my relationship with life itself, and the love therein. Okay, so we already did those cards. Let's get into some tarot. Ooh, why are you sitting on the bottom? They're like, pull these together. Okay. Four of Wands. I love the Four of Wands in this, because look at that, moving right along, doing the dance. And see, that is, they're talking about keep going, joy, because it's reiterating what you do in this moment, creating that space and that breath is coming from a depth of a wisdom, of an experience that's deeper than any words or flapping that has been taught to you. It is something that is innate truth inside of yourself, and they're wanting us to each get back to our own wisdom first before seeking self-helping and rubrics and things outside of us, okay? Because that opens the space for heaven to participate in your life and for you to begin to experience things beyond the imaginable, beyond the known, right? Because the unknown is knowable. You can imagine it, because just like those plants, they're just having a new experience every hour, every day, and it's communing and communicating with its environment and with the sun, the star, the life-giving beyond this planet. All right, so thank you very much. They're like spirit dove. So what spirit dove are you going to tell us through these color cards? They all got stuck together. I'm going to shuffle in a minute, but here we go. They have the say-so. So they're like far and wide, but really far and near. From beyond the reaches of where you could conceive, to the very things that you've already experienced that you treasure and hold dear, not just the specific details of it, but the honey of it in your heart, of like, oh, that was so special that Christmas where the whole family got together. We were up in the cabin and it started to snow, and so looked at us and said, just a life for me. Things like that you're going, you can't totally recreate it, but you love that warm feeling that it brought, that togetherness that it brought. These are the things that this opening 1, 2, 3, 4 for whoever's winning elucidates to your mind, and it returns to you. The knowledge of it begins to return to you when you take that reflection time, when you create that space. All right, that invitation. It transcends time. Because remember, when you're in a good feeling or a state of reflection, a minute could do what hours worth of work could do. They're asking you to step back into yourself, to get out of the doings and the trappings and get into the being. And the being is action that stems from the am. Who am I? What has meaning to me? What are the desires of my heart and the experience that I wish to imbibe in and enjoy while I'm here on this planet? And it's not just the XYZ, it's that feeling, because everything we do, we're trying to get a feeling, to get a connection, to achieve this or that, so that we'll feel this and that. Right? When then? You don't have to wait till then. You can begin to imagine it now. And that creates this dynamic, this heart opening, and this permission that it comes to find you. And that's where the surprise, the delight, the love, the joy begins to step in. It's going, oh, I didn't know it'd be just like this. Oh, wow, this is wonderful. Or I wouldn't have thought of that. That's an option I hadn't even thought of. And I'm telling you, it doesn't just work for the pleasure. It can work when you've been in trouble, or when you're struggling, or family members are struggling, and you just get into that moment and quit trying to rattle off all the problems, and you begin to recreate a feeling, or to create a feeling in your mind of what is pleasant and what is desirous, right? Okay, not longing, that desire. Don't stretch out beyond yourself. Just get in this moment and let it be simple. Let it be what it is. And that begins to create your world to turn in the proper direction. See, we base everything on how a clock spins, but the truth is the world spins counterclockwise. Growing my garden, it's fascinating watching any of the vining tendrils on the plants. They all wrap themselves counterclockwise. And when we get in the spiral of life, we begin to pursue life instead of pursuing problems and solutions to our problem. We are the solution. If you will get in direction and in flow and in rhythm and in your nature, they're all the same thing. You don't have to memorize those. They're all the same thing. Get into any one of those and you're getting into all of them. That gets you in tune with it, where it can come like a relay race and hand you the baton. It's right here with you all along, friend. But see, there's even the spiral right there. Okay? The spirals of life take us from Chiron, the wounded healer who can teach and tell and help and show and bless the lives of everyone else but himself, because he still has that wound of feeling cast out of heaven and unloved. Why is it different for me? Why does it work for me? It's because it is different. How do we divine with ourselves? How do we double ourselves? And it's kind of like the plants. There's a time to receive, and then there's a time to reflect. And in that reflecting, I often ask a lot or the same question. And when I do, it's like sending out an email to myself. That it's not like a text where you're like, where's the answer? No, it's something that comes a little bit down the line. Maybe later that day when I'm washing dishes, or maybe when I turn a corner to head to the post office. It might come in a few days or a week later, but it comes in so clear that it awakens my heart to go, oh, yeah. And it's profound. That's the neat thing when it's from yourself to yourself, why it produces those double fruits of that double mint gum. Is you don't have to speak the English in our country. You don't have to speak all the language to yourself. There's a, oh, wow, I wonder. And you finish your own sentences with things that are greater than just words, with feelings, with expressions, with sensations, right? That's what this whole head is for us to be sensational. So anyways, that halts the merry-go-round and it begins to get us in tune with the spin. Because when you're spinning with the spin, do you feel the spin? No. You feel the steadiness. You feel the guidance. You feel the rhythm and the turns, and it's innate. It's irrefutable. Watermelon's not wanting to calm. Who's not wanting to have fun with their inner child? Who's not wanting to dance and divine with this greater energy that we all came here for? Because if you're here, you chose to come. You asked to come. You asked to look like this, to be born at such and such a dress and have so-and-so parents. That begins to do away with self-help books, and it gets you into the truth of who you are. And you're like, okay, you mean it's all addressed right here? I wanted this, and if it doesn't look like what you want, then you begin to tap into your imagination and your sensations, and you begin to create the desires of your heart. They're still trying to pop out plum, overcome your challenges. Yeah, and that'll bring in the divine. I love this. So this pearl card to me is like, I believe our divine nature is happiness. Divine nature activate our DNA, our spiritual DNA, which can be our cellular DNA that we live from, or some call it Christ consciousness, or overcoming the matrix, or getting into a fucus, leaving the spiral, those type of things. It's that it just awakens inside of us when we realize it's our birthright to be happy, to be in tune with who we are, to be in the center of self, or self-centered. Because let me tell you, selfish and selfless are on either side of the seesaw, going boom, 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 boom. But being in the center of self means you just keep moving on through into your business, into your enjoyment, into your pleasure, because the one you're here to know most intimately is yourself. Okay. Thank you, pearls, for showing up. Well, they're saying that's it, y'all. Ooh, somebody wants me to get some letters. I'm going to pull some letters for you. Look at this. We got my bananagrams. So just take a couple of deep breaths, all right? Let's just close your eyes if you desire, and just a few deep breaths. And I'm going to blow out of my mouth because I want to release any tension or stress or blockages or that old friction, right? Or resistance out of the way, because I truly delight to know myself more intimately and have this beautiful honey dripping experience here on earth. Feeling your body begin to change, your throat, your mouth, your shoulders, your neck, your ears, maybe even all the way down to your hips or your toes. Okay. All right, they came as a set. Ooh, somebody gonna be cutting something because demo came out. That's fascinating, unless this blank that's turned over as an N is not, it's a P. So some of you are afraid of your dreams, that it just seems that bad things seem to keep happening in something once you do not accomplish your wealth, or accomplish a family, or a degree, or whatever else it is. And that's not true. Demo is something that you cut it and you create it to the best of your ability for what you have at your fingertips now, knowing that it's enough, we can say, to get your foot in the door, but to really create that breath of space for the opportunity, because it shows that you really mean this. You didn't just have the imagination, but you move forward, not in the doing, in the being, united with yourself, stepping forward of like, okay, this is the best I know how to do now. Kind of like my tarot videos. I'm like, why am I here? I can just look at people and I know what's going on, but they're like, use these tools and these implements to help the people. But I love it because it also moves into poem, and your life can be this beautiful story. Poems inspire feelings. They're like these word pictures. It's a little bit like what it is to divine with yourself. Remember that, oh, I see. When you're talking with yourself, when that email returns and the response to the question, the reflection, the photosynthesis, right, comes on in, that you're like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. And that's the beauty of it. When we connect with our divinity, it's surprising, it's intriguing, it sparks our curiosity, it gets our pilot light going on our hot water heater, okay? And then that can add that beautiful meaning and life to your soul. So, hey, if this meant something to you, give me a thumbs up down below. You could even click the like thumbs up, but leave me some comments. Let me know how it's going for you. I love you and know that I'm here for you. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna click it here. Bye.